I love Nevada and I love our fight.
You wouldn't know it by listening to her, but Liz Wartenberger was born in England. She moved to California as a child, where she eventually got her American citizenship.
I grew up mostly in Northern California on a farm. I come from a rural background myself. Moved here about, 13 years ago.
After several years as a CEO for Girl Scouts here in town, she moved into her role as CEO of Safe Nest. She's been at the helm for 8 years, tackling a wicked problem. Nevada ranks second in the country for domestic violence, third for men murdering women, with most cases happening in Las Vegas.
The fluidity of the problem makes it very hard to solve. So knowing that helps me say, okay, what piece of this elephant are we going to eat today? Who can I bring to the table? Where can we find common ground? What can we push forward? So I don't get frustrated because I understand the nature of the dynamics of the epidemic.
She entered Safe Nest with a passion for the mission and a background in business. She has grown a $3 million budget to $10 million and made real change. Many wrote to us about Liz, crediting her personal resilience, her visionary leadership, relentless commitment to serving others, spearheading a response program along with Metro, allowing advocates to accompany police officers to domestic violence scenes.
So our advocates go out on those highly lethal domestic violence 911 calls to provide those services on scene with officers present. So that has been a very helpful program.
Immediate intervention, providing on-the-spot support to survivors, drastically improving the outcome for these individuals.
Only 4% of women who are murdered in domestic violence will reach out to a crisis hotline like the one Safe Nest provides. So that's sort of in that 12 months prior to homicide. But 86% will have an intersectionality with police.
Liz added Camp Hope into Safe Nest programming, focusing on breaking cycles of violence by empowering at-risk youth. Since 2019, nearly 500 kids have participated.
The true heroes are my overnight manager at shelter, who's sitting there keeping 100 people calm through a night, right? And dealing with conflicts as they arise. My TPO advocates who go to court and sit next to the adverse party while the survivor they're working with is trying to get out their story for a judge.
Liz is also very proud of the accomplishments that occurred during the 2023 legislative session.
We passed a really sound strangulation bill so that victims of domestic violence who have been strangled as part of that violence portfolio can get a free exam. That stands out to me because we know strangulation plays such a correlated role in lethality for that survivor, but also in cop killers and mass shootings. And so being able to get these offenders behind bars and with a felony offense, to me, was like, yes, we are moving the needle.
This legislative session, we watched her push for change with 2 assembly bills to create a searchable database to see if someone has prior domestic violence convictions, and one that would require police to determine the level of danger when responding to domestic violence calls.
We cannot continue to deny that we are failing.
And through it all, Liz faced her own battle.
Almost a year ago, I got a call from my doctor. I had had a routine blood test, and he needed me to check into the hospital, and lo and behold, I had a form of leukemia.
She feels fortunate to have received a transplant in October at USC. The recovery, however, much tougher than she imagined.
And they gave me chemo, radiation, transplant, and then chemo again, and I was wiped out.
Her 12-year-old daughter and 15-year-old son with her every step of this remarkable journey.
Watching your kids grow up is one of the greatest gifts.
Liz didn't take too much time to rest, completing her PhD while undergoing chemo, and wouldn't you know it, transforming her hospital room into a working environment.
I gotta give a shout out to the 6th floor at Summerlin Hospital because they let me bring in an extra table, set up a desk in there. I put a little note up that I was having meetings. Like, I was able to really just continue to work. Which I really, really appreciated. The nurses were phenomenal.
Liz's impact extends far beyond her professional achievements. She embodies hope, strength, and determination.
This is an honor, and I really appreciate it.
She is truly a remarkable woman.
And Liz even secured $9 million in funds from state lawmakers to create One Safe Place. This is a campus that will centralize and expand services for survivors of domestic violence, sexual violence, and trafficking. It does open in October, and it'll be the only campus of its kind across the United States.